Farmers among Russians drafted into the military, Putin says.
Here's a summary of the article.
Russian President Vladimir Putin chairs a meeting on agriculture issues via video link in Sochi, Russia, September 27, 2022. Moscow, September 27. Farmers are among the Russians being drafted into the military, President Vladimir Putin told a meeting with officials on Tuesday, signaling potential further risks for the 2023 crop. I would also like to address regional heads and the heads of agricultural enterprises. As part of the partial mobilization, agricultural workers are also being drafted. Their families must be supported. I ask you to pay special attention to this issue, Putin told the televised meeting. Wednesday's announcement of Russia's first public mobilization since World War II, amid what Moscow calls its special military operation in Ukraine, has triggered a rush for the border by eligible men and unease in the wider population. Officials have said 300,000 more Russians will be called up to serve as part of the mobilization campaign. Some regions bordering Ukraine in the southern and central part of Russia, such as the Kursk region, are major grain producers. Putin also told the meeting that Russia is on track to harvest a record grain crop of 150 million tons, including 100 million tons of wheat, in 2022.
This post received a score of 50,000, with an upvote ratio of 92%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Putin's strategy in this war is just every meme about Russian military history mashed into one.
The most obvious meme, and then, it got worse, keeps being repeated.
Putin never played Age of Empires. The last units you send to combat are your farmers. No food equals no soldiers.
So true. And at that point, you know you're fucked.
Unless you're Spanish. Rip anyone who goes up against those villagers. Edit. They really need a research that allows villagers to group into military formations. The micro is excruciating.
Everyone run into the governor building and throw spears from there.
I can hear the bells. Lol.
It's like he's been watching the success of Ukraine farmers and thought, yeah, farmers, that's what we need. Deploy the tractor brigade.
Bring your own tractors?
Love a good BYOT party.
Sick of BYOT?
Hey, at least the Ukrainians will get some more tractors. The harvests will be huge after all the Russian fertilizer that will be provided.
I wonder if that man the old lady was talking to still alive. Would be prophetic as he is somewhere in a field decomposing.
It feels like he keeps thinking all he needs is one more sacrifice. One more move. He has them on the brink. Just push the war of attrition a little bit more. In the future, this will be studied as the sunk cost fallacy in war. He could win everything this very minute and still come out behind.
Wonder if he's still getting bad intel for fear of retribution. Obviously he has access to outside media, but I wonder what his advisors and command staff are saying.
No, it's obviously the West that's getting bad intel. Russia is definitely close to liberating Ukraine from their Nazi selves.
The crazy thing is that they are defining Nazi to actually mean anti-Russian. So the official story that the Russian people are swallowing is that they are killing and bombing in order to stop people hating Russians.
The bombings will continue until our image improves.
I say, the whole world must learn of our peaceful ways. By force.
They'll be saved, whether they like it or not.
Russia hasn't left the feudal age.
No kidding. The only equipment they're giving their draftees right now are their uniforms and their rifles. Everything else, from tourniquets to sleeping bags and even socks, has to be supplied by the soldiers themselves. That's outright medieval.
I heard recently they literally just started requiring socks for Russian soldiers only a few years ago. The soldiers had long been using traditional cloth foot wraps instead that sort of worked but were far more difficult to apply and prone to getting wet versus socks nowadays that cost next to nothing to produce. I don't know how Western observers didn't see little tidbits of information like this that was apparently openly available on the internet for years and not think that maybe the Russian armed forces were woefully unprepared for a large-scale conventional war despite all the propaganda claiming they had such an advanced, modernized military. Looking back, it sure looks like people just took Russian propaganda about state-of-the-art weapons systems and elite super soldiers at face value and never bothered to investigate if any of it was real or had been battle-tested, deployed on a widespread basis.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.